Hey y'all, welcome to TXC Tells All, or welcome back if you're one of our subscribers. So, should you quit your job? That's what we're talking about today, but I want to talk about it in a particular context of discrimination at work. So, I hope you've never experienced this, but it is a reality in our society today and for many, many years. Discrimination in the workplace. Are you being discriminated against because of your race, your age, your gender, because you have a disability, your religion, sexual harassment, sexual orientation, national origin, or color? Are these reasons that you are facing discrimination in the workplace right now and you can't take it anymore? And you're thinking, you know what? I don't have to put up with this. Let me just quit. Let me tell you, you need to watch this video before you resign or you make any decisions to quit your job because you're being discriminated against or harassed at work. Watch this video till the end because I will tell you the answer and the reason why. Short answer, no. You should not quit your job because you're being discriminated against at work. Now you're probably thinking, how is she telling me that I'm experiencing this horrible treatment at work and I shouldn't leave? It's not that you shouldn't leave. It's how you set yourself up to have a potential wrongful termination case and get some vindication, get a remedy for what's happening to you at work, and don't just end up on the other side with no job and no income coming in and not being able to do anything about it. That's what this video is about. I'm an employment lawyer by trade, so although this is not legal advice, and if you really need legal advice, you should talk to a lawyer, an employment lawyer who's familiar with these areas of law. But I do want to give you some information about why you should not quit your job. Do not quit your job if you are experiencing discrimination in the workplace, because there are some things you can do about it. And the best way to set yourself up to do that is by not quitting when they're trying to force you out. Okay, so let's talk about the top 3 reasons why you should not quit your job if you are experiencing discrimination or harassment in the workplace. Reason number 1, if you quit your job and you're experiencing discrimination or harassment in the workplace based on a protected class, which I'm going to break down a little further in a minute, and you quit your job, you put yourself in a position where you may not be able to sue that company for wrongful termination. So I'm assuming that if you're watching this and you're continuing to watch it, either you or somebody you know is dealing with these types of issues at work and they're getting to the point where they feel like they have to quit their job. Or maybe they feel like they're being set up to fail and they want to go ahead and jump the gun and say, I know they're trying to fire me, even though I know this is a discriminatory termination, I'm just going to quit first. Guys, listen. If you are in this situation or you know somebody who is, now let me back up. I'm not saying to, of course, stay in a situation that's dangerous, harmful to you physically or harmful to you mentally. Sometimes we have to put ourselves first and do what we need to do that's best for us, for our health. That should always come first. But if you are in a situation where, let's say, for example, an employer puts you on a performance improvement plan that you think is unfair, it's discriminatory. Let's look at a real life example. You do something in the workplace, you perform well, and you get written up for it. You've done nothing wrong, you haven't violated any company policies. And then you're looking at somebody else in your same job position who is of a different race, and they have not been written up for doing the same exact thing, and they're actually receiving praise for what they did. Now you're seeing somebody in your same job position that did the same thing as you, and they're receiving one type of response from the employer, and you're receiving a negative response from the employer. That can be an example of proof of discrimination. Now, I know in our times, a lot of times, not all the time, because sometimes discrimination, race discrimination or whatever can be very direct. People are using derogatory terms, things like that. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's things like I'm being treated differently than other people outside of my protected class. So referring back to that protected class, those are the areas of discrimination. Protected class can be race, can be disability, can be age if you're over 40, can be religion, can be national origin, can be color, can be sexual orientation, can be gender. So those are your protected classes. If you feel like you're being treated more negatively than other people outside of your protected class, that could be evidence of discrimination. And that leads me to the reason why you should not quit is because if you wanted to bring a wrongful termination case later, you have to be terminated. You can't have quit that job. So, in my experience as an employment lawyer, I get calls all the time with people that say, I was definitely discriminated against at work. And so I resigned because I couldn't take it anymore, but I have all the evidence of how I was discriminated against. And unfortunately, I usually have to have the tough conversations with these potential clients and say, you don't have a wrongful termination case because you weren't terminated. And a lot of times that's really surprising to people. They're like, but what are you saying? I have evidence of discrimination. And like, well, you weren't terminated. And the only way for you to now sue this employer for what they did wrong to you is by proving something called constructive discharge. So, not to get too much into the details of that, but constructive discharge means that the situation was so bad, and the term is so severe and pervasive, so bad that I had to leave. There was nothing else for me to do, and it was so constant, and it got so extreme, so severe that I had to leave. Now, this you might say to yourself, well, maybe some situations do happen like that, and it's true. That's why the law has that constructive discharge part of it, but it's a really, really, really high standard. So if you're in a situation where it might have been something wrong that the employer did and discrimination is going on, but it's not happening every day, um, and it doesn't rise to that level of constructive discharge, and you quit, now you can't bring a wrongful termination case. So that's reason number one. If you want to bring a wrongful termination case against your employer for discrimination or harassment, do not quit because it will not stand in court. You won't be able to bring that wrongful termination case. And the goal, obviously, in bringing a lawsuit against a former employer that terminated you is to get money, is to get compensated for their bad behavior. In order to do that, it has to be a termination and not a resignation or not you quitting your job, because then you have to prove that high constructive discharge standard, and it's really hard to prove. I'm going to tell you from experience, it's just very hard to prove, and it's often hard to find an employment lawyer that will take that type of case. It's easier to find employment lawyers that will help you with your wrongful termination case when you're terminated and you didn't quit. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, you don't want to quit your job if you're being discriminated against at work because you may not be able to get unemployment benefits. One thing that's really, really important to a lot of people when they are out of work is to get unemployment benefits to hold them over until they get another job. If you voluntarily resign from your job or quit your job, even if you were experiencing discrimination in the workplace, the Unemployment Benefits Office, here is the Texas Workforce Commission that decides unemployment benefits, they can deny your claim for unemployment benefits because they'll say you were not separated from work because of a decision made by the employer. You quit your job, you voluntarily left. So that can make you ineligible for unemployment benefits. So that's reason number two. If you are relying on your income, don't quit your job. Wait. I know it sounds crazy, but it really is true. It puts you at a disadvantage. Like I said, reason one, you won't be able to bring a wrongful termination case unless you can prove constructive discharge, which is very hard. And reason number two, you will not be able to get unemployment benefits. So those are two major reasons not to quit your job if you face discrimination in the workplace. Reason number three, not to quit your job if you're experiencing discrimination and harassment in the workplace or harassment in the workplace. And you may not have been familiar with it, but most companies, small, medium, and large companies, but especially large companies and medium-sized companies, have human resources in place and have policies in their employment handbook that speak to what you need to do when you face discrimination or harassment in the workplace. Now, we've all been there. You start a new job, they give you all this paperwork. They give you tax paperwork to get paid, direct deposit paperwork to get your direct deposit, and they throw in with all of that paperwork an employee handbook that might be 50 to 100 pages. And they say, read all of this and then acknowledge that you received it. They either have you physically sign it or they have you do an e-sign. Nowadays, most of the employee handbooks are sent through an email, and then they have you check a box and say that you read this and get an electronic signature back, right? How many of us are really reading those documents from top to bottom, understanding the policies? Not many. You know when we read those documents? When there's a problem. So reason number 3 not to quit your job if you're being discriminated and harassed in the workplace is because before you quit, you want to put in writing your complaint to human resources. CC your manager. If the manager is not the person discriminating against you, you might not want to do that, but definitely either go above your manager to a higher boss or go directly to human resources, or both. But make sure that you put your complaint in writing, because sometimes, not all the time, sometimes companies do the right thing and they address the discrimination and harassment once they receive your complaint. But you need to go ahead and put that in writing. And another point with that is, be clear about what you're saying. I know sometimes it's hard for us and we're fearful of retaliation when we're still working there. We don't want to say, well, I think I'm being treated this way because I'm Black, or I feel like I'm being treated this way because of my sexual orientation, or I feel like I've been being treated negatively because I'm a woman. We don't want to say that, so we might describe, hey, I feel like my manager is being mean to me, or is not, answering my questions. No, be as specific as possible. Say, I am a Black female and I am being treated differently than my white counterparts because this happened, that happened, that happened on this date. And I feel that this is race discrimination. Be specific about what type of discrimination you feel like you're facing, and put in the email or the letter, I would like HR to investigate this. I would like to be transferred from this supervisor who is harassing me. Say exactly what you want and say what type of discrimination that it is. So if in the future you are terminated, the company can't say, oh, well, we didn't have knowledge that she was having problems, or we didn't know that he was being harassed. So reason number 3 not to quit your job if you're facing discrimination and harassment at work is because at first you need to try to address the issue with the company, put it in writing, and go through their process. Read that employee handbook and see, are you supposed to call a hotline to report discrimination or harassment? Are you supposed to email a particular individual? Go through the process, and sometimes people can be pleasantly surprised that when higher management or human resources steps in, you can get some things done without having to quit your job and lose your source of income. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button. We post new videos every single week. I'm an employment lawyer, and I do plan on doing some more of these videos on wrongful terminations and discrimination in the workplace. So if you are having those issues, stay tuned for more helpful videos. So remember why you should not quit your job if you are facing discrimination or harassment in the workplace. 1, if you quit, you cannot, or it'll be very hard to bring a wrongful termination case against that employer later if you chose to do that. 2, you may get denied unemployment benefits if you quit. So that can be very important to you. If you are leaving a job or employment ends, you need that money to hold you over. If you quit, you may be denied unemployment benefits. And reason number 3, you want to make sure you reach out to the company's HR or corporate headquarters or higher or upper management about the discrimination. Tell them exactly what's going on, what type of discrimination or harassment you're facing, and give them an opportunity to remedy that before you quit your job, because there's a chance they'll take corrective action and then you'll keep your job and you won't have to lose your income. So those are the 3 reasons why you should not quit if you are facing discrimination or harassment in the workplace.